Now we are ready to put the tile onto the wall. Finally, eh? Okay, so we will take our tile. I have already pre-cut and got this tile ready. I had to do the same to this tile as the one over there because of the screw that sticks out right here. So we take our mortar. Now, to know what size of trowel to use, a lot of it depends on what size of tile you're using. If you have a bigger tile, bigger trowel. So this one is pretty much the smallest you want to use for any tile. It's 1/4 by 1/4. Now normally on walls I like to use 1/4 by 3/8, but these tiles are so small, this wall is so flat, so everything's like perfect, this will be more than enough. So if the tile has a bow to it, you want to use a larger trowel to make sure that there's enough mortar that when you push your tile in, that every spot of the tile connects with mortar. Because if there's a bow and there's only a small amount of mortar, you might have mortar on this side and on this side, but nothing in the middle. You won't notice it until down the road if somebody bumps it or something happens by accident, then all of a sudden, uh-oh, there's a crack, then you have a problem. So make sure you always overdo it as opposed to under. Better too much mortar than not enough. Okay, so scoop out our mortar. You want to, first of all, get the mortar on the trowel, obviously. And to get it off your trowel onto the wall, put it on basically a flat angle. So real close to flat, spread it out. Now it's off your trowel for the most part and on the wall. Then when you want to do your actual grooves, put it on a 45 degrees and scrape up, and then you'll get the right size. Because if you try and put it on like this, what happens is that these grooves are not a full 1/4 inch. And if you try and go flat, you'll be struggling a lot and it digs in too much. It actually takes out too much. So there's that happy medium of the 45, easy to use and perfect amount of mortar. Now they always teach to put your mortar this way so that when you stick your tile on it doesn't sag. It sounds good in theory and it is actually a good idea, but a lot of the times because of where your tile is and where you are, you can't really make a go at it doing that. So I will a lot of the times just end up going straight up and down, which works just fine. You stick it on, you put enough support underneath, it's really not going anywhere, especially this size of tile, it's not heavy at all. Now, you got your tile, and what you want to do, especially for your first one, stick it in. So I slide it in nice and gentle, stick it in. Don't gently put in, stick it in so it's in the mortar. I also have these wedges, which I love to use as supports underneath. So sometimes you have to double it up, and what you want to do in this case, you'll notice that I have a laser line going here. Do it however you like, but what I like to have it is just so that I can see the line right on the tile. Then I know it's the right height, and it'll be the same all the way around. Because I also cut the bottom to match the slope. Now to do that, you would set your tile on like this, before mortar is preferable, and mark your mark on this side, and then put your mark on this side. Then you take those marks, transfer them up to the side, so let's say they'll be here and here. Then take your tile breaker, score along and snap, and we'll show you obviously how to do tile breaker. And once you've got that, now if the line is too small, you can't use a tile breaker on something that thin. So what you'll need to do then is to make a line on top of your tile and then cut it with either your angle grinder or your wet saw. And then you're ready with that. So I've already done that. And it's nice to have a sponge, a wet sponge on hand at all times, because you will get mortar all kinds of places that you don't want. So you got your angle here, same idea, stick it in, push it into the mortar, slide it over a bit, and then you want to put your tile spacer. So in this case, I'm actually just going to use this, and there would be your 16th inch tile space. So you'll notice that this is a little higher, because this is actually sagged a bit, because on this particular tub, the slope here kind of slopes down, and so it pushes the spacers up, so you got to watch for that. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll take my regular spacers and jam them in because they're nice and flat. And every tub is a little different, so you just got to work with what you have. And same here, we'll lift it up a touch. You'll see now that the line's straight and your spacing's good. And then all you do is continue all the way across and then work your way up. And that is how you tile the wide open spaces.